Hi everyone, there's been a lot of discussion about using different tools to align modular minis. I've been using Blender for quite a while to plan and align modular objects. So with my minis and with larger mechs and different things, just to do planning before I print them, and because sometimes I don't like printing and then gluing tiny little parts on them, I'll combine them beforehand and then set them up with custom supports in Lychee. So I thought I'd show you really quick how I do it. You can see down on the left there's the keystrokes and the mouse buttons, and I'll try and describe what I'm doing as I go along. I know Blender can be a bit of a crazy tool for some because it's got a lot of keystrokes. It doesn't have a lot of menu stuff. It does have a lot of menu stuff, but you got to know where it is, and the keystrokes make it a lot faster to work with. So I'll try and describe what I'm doing the best I can as I go along. So for this one, I'm just using the Skullforge Delta team from Arsenal. I've got two parts loaded in already that we can see over here in our collection, which is a head and a rifle pose. So I'll grab one more part just to show my process there, and then I'll show you how I align them. So I'm going to go to a file here. I'm going to go to import OBJ because that's what the file format is, and I'm going to find it here. I'm going to grab this legs pose and then bring it in. And so we can see that there's 4 different parts. In Blender, you can use your numpad to change between the different views. So right now I'm on the front view, which is numpad 1. If you hit 3, you can go to a side view. If you've loaded this in and you're way down at the origin, sorry, I'm just gonna scoot this over here. You're way down at the origin in the front view and you can't see any of your parts. What I tend to do is go and select one of the parts here in the collection and then just hit the period key on your numpad, and that will zoom in, and then I can zoom out and see what they're all about. I'm using middle mouse button to rotate the camera, but if you want to be more precise, you can hold the shift key and middle mouse button. It just allows you to move the view around so that you're not orbiting the object and getting lost in 3D space. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the origin. So each of these objects probably has their origin set to the center of the world, which when you're just looking at them is not a problem, but when you want to rotate them and position them, it gets a little bit tricky. So I'm going to reset their origin to the center of the object. So I'll select all of them, and then I'm going to go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry, and you'll see these dots appear in the middle of the object, and what that means is that Blender has calculated sort of a middle space on that volume and put the origin, which is the spot that the object will rotate around. And so then the next thing I'm going to do is move them all to the center of the world. And so the quick way to do that is to select them and then hit Shift S and say Selection to Cursor. And then I'm going to hit the period key by selecting it, hitting the period key, and it's going to show me everything in the middle of the world. If you're over here and you're selecting things and you hit the period key and nothing happens, or you hit any of the keyboard shortcuts and nothing happens, it's just because your mouse has to be out in the 3D space in order for it to work. And so you can see that everything is now moved to the middle of the world. So I'm going to hit my number 1 key, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit just using the scroll wheel, and I'm going to grab this, which is the torso. And so the next thing I'm going to hit the G key, and G is the shortcut for move. And the funny thing about Blender is that you don't have to hold your mouse button down while you're moving things. So if I hit the G key and I just move my mouse, the part moves. I don't have to hold my mouse button down, which is really nice for really precise positioning because you're not worried about your mouse click. So you click the left mouse button to release it and let it go. So you can see I moved it around and then I've released it. Your axes are Z is up, X is this red line, and if I hit the 3 key to go to a side view, Y is this green line. And so negative Y is to the left in this view and positive Y is to the right. If we go back to front, positive X is to the right and negative X is to the left, and positive Z is up and negative Z is down, or Z, depending on where you live. This is really important because when you're trying to position pieces, you want to know which axes you're moving on, because you can constrain the movement to that axis. So when you're in a front view, for example, and I hit the G key, you can see that I can move left and right along the x-axis, and I can move up and down along the z-axis, but I'm not moving in the y-axis because the view is constrained. But if I'm in any other three-dimensional view and I hit that G key, it's going to move around in all three axes, and maybe I don't want that to happen. And so, for example, if I want to constrain it just to the Z, I can hit G to move, and then I can hit Z, and that constrains it to that Z axis, right? So then I know it's not going to move left or right or front or back, it's just moving up and down. And likewise, if I want to move it front to back, so say it's like way back here when I start out, if I'm in a view where I'm trying to figure out where to line that piece up, maybe I'm really close in on the waist, for example, I can hit this G key to move and Y, and I can move it along that axis without having to be in a side view or a front view, as an example. And so that helps with precision. You can do the same thing with rotation. And so you can see that this piece is not lined up exactly with the flat waist, and so I want to rotate this a little bit. Rotation depends on the view that you're in, or it depends on the axis that you have selected. So I'm going to hit the R key to rotate, and you'll see that it rotates around that dot, right? So I'm trying to line it up with the waist, right? I can see that gap is pretty close. I'm going to go to my front view, and I can see that it's still kind of off kilter a little bit. So I'll hit the R key, and I'll rotate it a little bit there. You can do the same thing with rotation as you can with the move, which is that you can constrain it to an axis. So again, if I'm in like a different view, like a 3D view, and I want to only rotate it around, say, the Z axis, I can hit R, then I can hit Z, and now it's only going to rotate around that Z axis, right? Which is really handy if you're trying to customize the pose and you're trying to align that piece just exactly where you want it, and you only want it to rotate around one axis. So I'm going to go back to my front view. I'm going to line this up, and I'm just going to hit the G key. I'm moving it along the Y, and I'm going to bring that down. So you don't want to have any gaps when you're 3D printing, because you're going to have like weird spaces, or it's going to try and put supports in there or something. So I just sink it in, and I'm just going to look around to see where I'm at. I want to push that a little bit. See, I've still got this gap, so I'm just going to rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to go back to my side view for precision, move that forward, and then just pull it down a little bit. So I know for sure that that waist is seated into the torso, so the top of the legs is seated into the torso, and that way I know I've got no gap when I go to print. Go to the front and check it. So I like that position. Say I wanted to rotate it a little bit. I can again hit the R key for rotate and Z, and I can just rotate it around. Left mouse button to confirm that, and I can take a look at it. So that's kind of off here. I don't like that, so I'm going to go to the front view, hit G, and I'm going to constrain it to the X axis, and I'm just going to slide it over a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so I like that. It's maybe off a little bit too far, so again, I'm going to hit the G key, X to constrain it to that axis, and then I'm going to slide it. Alright, that's better. I like that. Okay, so now we're going to do the head. So I'm going to go to front view, I'm going to select the head object, and I'm going to hit the G key to move, and Z to constrain it to that axis, and I'm going to move it up. And then I'm just going to change my view so I can see what's going on here. When I move to a view that's not a side or a front, that's when I like to use that constrain axis. So I'm going to select it, hit G, Z, so I'm just moving it down into position, G, X, moving it over. Alright, and because I've combined this together, I don't care if like I've got a little bit that's like maybe bumping into like a shoulder or a piece there, as long as it doesn't look like it's scrunched or something like that, it's okay. If I wanted to kind of move this head a little bit into a natural position, I can use the rotate key. So I can hit R to rotate, and it wants to rotate around that axis. But if I hit R twice, I get kind of a like a pivot rotate. I don't know what the actual term for it is, but it allows you to like move your mouse up and down and get a rotated along like a multi-axis. It's a multi-axis rotate. And so that I can get a little bit more of the position that I want. So like I'm looking at this guy and I'm thinking, okay, he's looking down range. He's trying to you know, hold his team, and he's going to point to where they are. So I'm going to try and line that head up so that he's looking kind of where those fingers are going, right? So I might look back here. Okay, so I like that. Looks good to me. Nothing's pinching. We got a little bit of a collision here, but that's okay. That looks normal to me. Yeah, and that's it. So that's generally how I would do it. The last thing that I'm going to do, and this is just comes from the game development world, is I'm going to highlight all of my objects, and I'm going to go here to Object, and I'm going to hit Apply, Rotate, and Scale. And I'll show you why this is important. So right now, if you look at one of these objects, this rotation is all like out of whack, right? And that's because we've moved it from its original position. The scale's normal. I haven't changed the size on anything, so I don't need to worry about scale, but the rotation is kind of all over the place. And so I want to make this all zeroed out in this new position. So if I hit this object and I go to Object, Apply, Rotation and Scale, you can see that this all zeroes out. What that means is I have a fresh value. I start from 0 again. So if I want to ever type in a value, a rotation value, then I can do that starting from 0 degrees. So for example, if we wanted to rotate this head around 90 degrees, I can click on it, I can hit the R key, and then if I hit Enter, I get this little dialog down here, and I can click to expand that, and I can tell it which axis I want it to rotate around and by how many degrees, right? And so I can say 90 degrees, and I want it to rotate around the Z axis, hit return, boom, now the head's going to do that. So it's kind of weird, but it allows you to be really precise. We can do that without going to that dialog as well. So if I click Rotate, I click the Z key to define the axis, and I just type 90, then I get that, right? So you can do it either way. Once you get fast with the keyboard shortcuts, Blender becomes really fast to work with. And so I'll do that one more time. I'm actually going to group these two pieces together, just so that I can rotate it around the waist, because I like where the head is. And to do that, I select both parts. You can see they're both selected here in the collection, and I just hit Control J, and that joins the pieces together. And then that way I could rotate all of them. But first thing I need to do is make sure that my rotation is 0, and then I'm going to hit R, Z is the axis, and I'm going to say 45 degrees, right? And that's going to turn it counterclockwise. If I wanted to go the other direction, I would say R to find the axis as Z, and then I would hit like -90, and he's going to turn that way, right? So you can punch in those values, and it allows you to play with that. You can see that the waist is off a little bit. I'm not going to keep it in this position. Actually, I already printed all these ones, so I don't need to keep this one at all. But I could move this. So one thing with your views is that if you hit 3, it's going to go to the viewing from the right. But if I hit Control 3, it's going to view from the left. And so then I can select this, I can hit the G key, do a new position. See how it's off a little bit right here? If I want to, I can hit G and X, and it's kind of weird because you can't see it moving, but it is moving, right? And so then I can see that it overlaps that waist where I want it to. That's still off a little bit, so I'm just going to move this around. There we go. That rotation's a bit extreme, but you get my point, right? So just undo that, get back where I want it. There we go, and like that. Cool. So that's how I do it. And then if I want to join all of these together, if I like my pose, I like where the rotation is at, I like where the scale is at, I'll select all of them, and then I'll hit Control J. If it doesn't work for some reason, you get a little error down here. It's usually because your mouse is like over here instead of in the 3D window. So you always want to make sure your mouse is in the 3D window when you do things. So this is now ready for me to export out. You could change the origin to the center. It doesn't matter with 3D printing, but it's just kind of a good habit. So I'll go to Object, I'll go Set Origin, Origin to Geometry, and then that way that rotation point is right in the middle of the object. And this one's ready to export. So I would go to File, Export, STL. You could do OBJ, it doesn't matter, but I do STLs. And then I'll put it somewhere, right? So I'll throw it in my 3D printing library. Go to Delta Team, Custom, right? So I'll say like Commander, .stl, selection only. This is really important when you're working with lots of parts in your scene. You want to make sure that you've got selection only selected, or else it's going to export everything from your scene. So selection only, export STL, and there we go. And so if I then go to my storage area where I've got that folder, I'll just show you here. Where do I got him? Commander right here. I can double click that and I can look at that STL file. There we go, it's good. Now this doesn't have any supports, so you've got to go set up custom supports in Lychee or Chitubox or whatever your slicer is, but that's a different video. It's different information. So I hope this helps people that are interested in using Blender to customize modular pieces and to combine parts together, do some like digital kit bashing. I just find it easier than gluing stuff together sometimes. So I hope that helps.